The days after the engagement passed quietly, but Daniel's heart was far from quiet. While everyone around him seemed happy and excited, he felt trapped inside his own thoughts. He had agreed to the marriage because he did not want to disappoint anyone, especially Alina, who had shown nothing but kindness. But now he found himself struggling more than he expected. Every time he remembered her gentle smile or the calm way she spoke, his heart tightened. Her beauty had surprised him so deeply that he still felt unprepared for it. He had thought a plain bride would make life easier. He had believed that a simple marriage would keep his emotions calm, but Elena's presence changed everything. Instead of peace, he felt fear. Instead of calm, he felt confusion. Instead of excitement, he felt pressure. He was afraid of caring too much, afraid of being hurt again. He did not know how to open his heart. His mother noticed the change. She watched her son moving through the house silently, avoiding conversations, eating quietly, and spending long hours outside as if trying to escape something. She knew him too well. Something was bothering him, and it was not small. One evening, while Daniel was sitting alone on the porch, his mother stepped outside and sat beside him. She didn't speak at first. She just let the quiet wind settle between them. Daniel stared at the mountains in the distance, wishing his thoughts were as still as the view. His mother finally spoke gently. "Son, are you happy with this marriage?" Daniel stiffened. He wanted to say yes quickly, but the words stuck in his throat. His mother placed a soft hand on his arm. "Tell me the truth, Daniel," he sighed, lowering his gaze. "I don't know." She looked surprised. "What do you mean you don't know? Did the family say something wrong?" "Did the girl know, Mother?" he said quickly. "It's not them. They were kind." "She was kind." His mother studied his expression, sensing a deeper reason. "Then what is troubling you?" Daniel hesitated, then admitted slowly, "I thought she would be. Plain, but she's not." His mother raised her eyebrows slightly, trying not to smile. "So she is beautiful. Isn't that a good thing?" Daniel shook his head. "I don't know. I didn't expect it. When I saw her, I felt afraid. Afraid." His mother repeated softly, "Why afraid?" He took a deep breath. "Because I don't want to lose control of my heart. I don't want to feel too much. I don't want to depend on someone again. I've lived so long in calmness, keeping my emotions safe. But when I saw her, everything felt different. I don't know how to handle it." His mother listened patiently, her eyes full of understanding. She remembered how Daniel had once loved someone years ago, a childhood friend who suddenly moved away and left him heartbroken. Since then, he had kept his emotions locked up, never allowing himself to open fully again. She placed her hand on his shoulder. "Daniel, beauty is not a danger. A good heart is not something to fear. Emotions are not your enemy." Oh. Daniel swallowed slowly. "But what if I fail? What if I cannot be the kind of husband she expects? What if I care too much?" And then his mother squeezed his hand. "Stop fearing things that have not happened. You cannot protect yourself by building walls forever. Sometimes you must let life in. Sometimes you must trust someone." Her voice was soft but firm. "Give her a chance. Give yourself a chance." Daniel nodded weakly. Her words made sense, but the fear inside him was stubborn. He did not know how to release it. 2 days later, he received a message from Elena's family inviting him for a small dinner so both families could discuss wedding plans. Daniel tried to stay calm, but his nerves returned immediately. When he reached their home, Elena greeted him at the door with a polite smile. She wore a simple dress, her hair tied neatly, her expression gentle as always. Daniel's heart jumped again just like the first time. He greeted her quietly, careful not to look into her eyes for too long. Throughout the evening, Elena noticed Daniel's nervous behavior. He answered politely, but briefly. He never initiated conversation. He looked at her family more than he looked at her. She felt something was wrong, but she did not want to force him to speak. She believed kindness needed patience, not pressure. Her mother, noticing the distance, tried to lighten the mood by telling funny stories about Elena's childhood. Daniel smiled politely, but his heart was not fully present. Elena watched him silently, her eyes soft but questioning after dinner. The family suggested that Daniel and Alina walk outside for a short while before he returned home. Daniel agreed, though his chest felt tight with uneasiness. They walked down a small path near the house, accompanied by the soft glow of lanterns hanging on the fence. The night breeze was cool, carrying the scent of fresh earth and flowers. Alina walked beside him calmly, leaving enough space for him to feel comfortable. After a few minutes, she spoke softly. "You seem quiet today." Daniel swallowed. "I'm always quiet." Alina shook her head gently. "Not like this." He felt a small ache in his chest. She had noticed. She had felt it. That made him even more nervous. She continued, "If I have done something that made you uncomfortable, please tell me. I don't want there to be any misunderstanding between us." Her voice was sincere that Daniel felt guilty. "You didn't do anything wrong," he said quickly. She looked at him, her eyes searching. "Then why?" She paused, choosing her words carefully. "Why do you look away from me? Why do you feel tense around me? I want to understand." Daniel felt warmth rise through him, not anger, not embarrassment, but fear mixed with honesty. He took a deep breath. "I just didn't expect this." "Didn't expect what?" She asked softly, the same question she had asked on the first day. This time, he couldn't hide behind silence. He looked down. "I didn't expect you to be the way you are." Elena's eyebrows lowered slightly. "Do you mean my behavior?" "My personality. Am I too formal? Too shy?" "No," Daniel said, shaking his head. "It's not that." She waited. He swallowed. "I was told you were plain. I thought our marriage would be simple and calm. But when I saw you—" He hesitated. "I felt overwhelmed." Alina blinked slowly, not sure how to respond. Daniel continued, "Your presence, your kindness, your appearance. Everything felt too strong for me. I don't know how to handle it." Alina stared at him quietly for a moment. Then she asked gently, "You don't like how I look?" Daniel shook his head quickly. "No, that's not it. You're—" He struggled to find a safe word. "You're very graceful. And that scares me." Alina softened. "Scares you? Why?" Daniel sighed, his voice barely above a whisper. "Because I am afraid of caring too much. Afraid of feeling something strong. Afraid of losing control of my heart." Alina listened carefully, her eyes warm and understanding. She did not laugh or judge. She did not look disappointed. Instead, she spoke softly. "You don't have to fear me. And you don't have to fear your feelings. I only want a marriage where both people feel safe and respected. You don't need to force anything. Just take your time." Her gentle tone calmed him more than she realized. "I'm not here to make your life harder," she continued. "If you need space, I can give it. If you need time, I will wait. If you are unsure, we can talk. We don't have to rush anything." Daniel felt his throat tighten. He had expected her to be upset or confused. Instead, she offered patience, something he didn't know he needed so much. He nodded slowly. "Thank you," Lena smiled softly, a smile that didn't demand anything from him. "We will learn together. You don't have to carry everything alone." Those simple words stayed in Daniel's heart even after he returned home that night. As he lay in bed, he replayed their conversation again and again. He realized something important. Alina was not someone who would push him into uncomfortable emotions. She was gentle, steady, patient. She wanted understanding, not pressure. Her beauty had scared him, but her kindness began melting that fear quietly, slowly. Softly, for the first time since their engagement, Daniel felt a small shift inside him. Not a complete change, not sudden courage, but a beginning. A possibility, he thought. Maybe I can open my heart a little. Maybe this marriage will not break me. Maybe she is exactly the kind of person who can help me trust again. It was not love yet. It was not bravery yet. But it was hope, and that was enough for now. Daniel had always lived a simple life, quiet mornings, long days of work, and peaceful evenings spent beside his widowed mother, who depended on him for almost everything. Their home sat at the edge of a mountain town, a place where every face was familiar and every person knew his family history. Daniel was not rich, But he worked hard, kept his promises, and stayed away from trouble. People respected him for that. He believed life did not need to be exciting to be meaningful. It only needed stability. For years, Daniel never thought seriously about marriage. He always said he was too busy or not ready, but the truth was harder to admit. Deep inside, he feared giving his heart away. He feared caring too much. He feared losing someone again the way he once lost someone years ago. That memory stayed buried, yet it shaped every decision he made. His mother, however, gently encouraged him to think about settling down. She dreamed of seeing her son start his own family and finding the happiness he kept locked away. After many conversations, she arranged a meeting with a family from another valley. They had a daughter named Elena, kind, respectful, simple, and humble. Nothing special, they said. A plain girl with a good heart. When Daniel heard that description, he nodded, without complaint. A plain bride sounded safe. Someone simple meant someone he could treat well without fearing emotions that might overwhelm him. He was not looking for beauty or excitement. He only wanted peace. But the truth was that he did not know what he truly wanted. He just believed a plain bride would not disturb the calm world he had built around himself. The day finally arrived when he had to travel to meet Elena and her family. Daniel prepared his horse early in the morning, checking the saddle straps twice, making sure everything was secure before setting out. His mother packed a small basket of food and gave him a warm smile. "Just meet them," she said gently. "Keep your heart open. You may find something good." Daniel nodded, though he wasn't sure he believed that. He took the reins, gave his mother a reassuring look, and started the journey. The path to Elena's valley was long and quiet. Trees lined both sides of the road, their branches moving softly in the wind. Daniel tried to calm his mind, but his thoughts kept circling around the same point. What if this is a mistake? He wasn't worried about the girl being unattractive or too simple. He was worried about himself, his emotions, his fears. The memories he tried to forget. He kept reminding himself that the girl was plain. That helped him feel safe. But when he reached her home, everything changed in a single moment. Her family welcomed him with warm smiles. Her father shook his hand firmly. Her mother offered tea, and relatives stood around, eager to see the man who might soon join their family. They were friendly people, simple and sincere, and their kindness made Daniel feel slightly relaxed. But then Elena stepped into the room. The world seemed to stop. She was nothing like what he imagined. She wasn't plain at all. She wasn't simple in the way he expected. Her beauty was quiet, not loud or showy, but soft, gentle, and natural. She wore modest clothes, and her hair was tied back neatly. Her face carried a calm expression, but her eyes had a depth, softness that Daniel couldn't ignore. She walked gracefully, not trying to impress anyone. Her steps were small, her smile polite. Everything about her presence felt peaceful. Yet something inside Daniel tightened sharply. He felt something he did not expect. Fear. Not fear of her, but fear of how she made him feel. He lowered his eyes quickly, pretending to adjust his sleeve, afraid that if he looked at her too long, his emotions would take control. He had spent years building a quiet wall around his heart. And now this girl, this unexpectedly beautiful girl, was breaking that wall without even trying. Elena sat politely with her hands folded, waiting for the conversation to start. She didn't stare at him. She didn't act shy or bold. She behaved with simple grace, showing respect without forcing anything. Daniel noticed all of it. Her father began speaking, telling Daniel about their family, their values, and Elena's strengths. She cooked well, she worked hard, and she always took care of her parents. Daniel listened, but his thoughts kept drifting back to one troubling realization. She is beautiful. Too beautiful, and I don't know what to do with that. He feared that her beauty would soften him, break his defenses, make him feel things he tried so hard to avoid. He feared caring too much. He feared losing control of his emotions, and because of that fear, he stopped meeting her eyes. Elena noticed Daniel's nervousness wasn't hidden. Every time her glance tried to meet his, he turned away. He spoke politely but stiffly. He answered questions, but never looked directly at her. She wondered if he disliked her or found something wrong with her appearance. She did not know that her beauty was the very reason he struggled. The families talked for more than an hour. Tea was served. Laughter filled the room, especially from the elders who were already imagining the marriage. But Daniel felt as if he was battling a storm inside his chest. When the families suggested that Daniel and Alina speak privately for a few minutes, Daniel's heart raced. He did not want to be rude, but he felt unprepared. Still, he agreed because refusing would seem disrespectful. They walked to the small garden behind the house. The air was cool, and sunlight filtered softly through the leaves. Alina walked quietly beside him, giving him space. Showing no pressure, when they finally stopped near a small, flowering tree, Alina spoke first. Her voice gentle. "I hope you had a comfortable journey," she said. Her tone was simple, but to Daniel, it felt like a wave hitting him. He nodded quickly. Yes. It was fine. Silence settled, soft but heavy. Alina studied him carefully. She did not want to assume anything. But his nervous behavior was clear. "If you have any questions about me," she said softly, "you can ask. I want to be honest with you." Eck! Daniel swallowed. He wanted to ask many things. What are you really like? How do you stay so calm? How can someone look so gentle? But none of those questions sounded sensible. Instead, he said, "You seem like a good person." Alina smiled a little, lowering her eyes politely. "I hope so. I try my best." More silence. Daniel forced himself to speak again. "I didn't expect—" His words stopped midway. She looked up. "Didn't expect what?" He couldn't tell her the truth, not now. So he simply nodded and said, "I didn't expect the meeting to feel this strange." Elena's smile faded slightly. She wondered if she was the reason it felt strange to him, but she didn't ask further. She respected his silence. After a few more minutes of simple conversation, they returned to the house. The elders, excited and hopeful, looked at Daniel for his opinion. He did not want to make his mother disappointed or disrespect the girl's family. He took a deep breath and said quietly, "I agree." The room filled with happiness. Elena's mother began thanking everyone. Daniel's mother smiled proudly. Plans for the engagement started immediately. But inside Daniel's heart, a new struggle had begun. He should have felt relieved. Instead, he felt overwhelmed. He sat quietly while the family celebrated. His mind repeated one thought. How do I stay calm around her? How do I control my heart? Because that fear, the fear of loving deeply, the fear of losing control had returned stronger than ever, and all because the bride he thought would be plain turned out to be someone whose beauty made him fear his own heart more than anything else. The days leading up to the wedding were filled with quiet preparation and gentle anticipation. Both families were busy with small details, arranging flowers, preparing meals, inviting friends, and checking the house for every small thing. The town itself seemed to buzz softly with excitement. People whispered about the young man and woman who were soon to be married, curious about how their union would unfold. Yet inside Daniel, life felt different. It was no longer the calm, steady rhythm he had known. Instead, he felt a mixture of nervousness, hope, and a strange excitement he did not fully understand. He would wake early each morning and sit by the window, staring at the mountains in the distance. The sky would glow pink, orange, and soft blue as the sun rose over the peaks. Daniel liked these quiet moments, and yet even in this calm, his mind wandered to Alina. He thought about the way she smiled politely, the softness in her eyes, and the quiet strength that seemed to fill the spaces around her. He had tried for days to control these thoughts, to keep them locked in a corner of his mind, but they would not stay hidden. Each thought of her was a gentle tug at his heart, a reminder that he could no longer pretend everything would remain the same. He knew he had to face his feelings before the wedding. He could not start this new life carrying fear and distance in his heart. So, one morning, he made a decision. He would visit Alina at her home, alone. He needed to speak honestly, to explain the truth he had hidden behind polite words and quiet gestures. When he arrived, Alina greeted him as usual, with a soft smile and calm eyes. She noticed immediately that Daniel looked serious. But there was also something different, determination that she had not seen before. She led him to the garden, the same one where they had first spoken openly days ago. The early sun filtered through the trees, and the flowers glowed in soft shades of yellow, pink, and white. It was quiet except for the distant sound of the town waking up. The air was fresh, carrying the scent of dew and earth. Daniel stopped for a moment, taking a deep breath. Then he turned to her. "Alina, I need to speak honestly," he said softly, his voice steady but quiet. "I have been distant, and I owe you an explanation." Alina listened attentively, her head tilted slightly, eyes calm but attentive. She did not interrupt. She had learned to wait and listen, and Daniel appreciated her patience. "I thought I would be marrying someone." "Plain," Daniel began, choosing his words carefully. "I expected someone simple, someone I could be calm around without fear. But you are nothing like I expected. Your kindness, your presence, your everything about you. It surprised me. I felt something I haven't felt in a long time. Something strong, something I tried to hide." Elena's eyes softened, but she did not speak. She waited, letting him continue. Daniel's voice wavered slightly, but he kept going. "I didn't know how to handle it. I kept my distance because I was afraid of caring too much, afraid of losing control of my heart. I thought if I stayed distant, I could protect myself. But I realized that is wrong. You haven't done anything to hurt me. This fear is mine, and it is unfair to you." Alina stepped a little closer, her gentle presence making Daniel's heart beat faster. "Daniel," she said softly, "thank you for telling me the truth. I was beginning to feel your distance, and I wondered if I had done something wrong. But I see now that it is not you. It is your heart trying to protect itself." Daniel nodded, relief washing over him. "Yes, it is me. I wanted to be honest before the wedding because I cannot start this life carrying fear. I want to be open, I want to be brave, and I want to trust you." Lena smiled, a small, calm smile. "I don't want you to be afraid of me. I only want us to start with honesty, trust, and understanding. You don't need to force yourself to feel something you are not ready for. We will learn together, slowly. But I am happy that you are willing to try." Her words were gentle, simple, and powerful. They calmed him more than he expected. He realized that all this time he had been fearing not her, but himself, his own heart, his own emotions, and the memories he had carried for years. She was not the danger. His fear was. They walked slowly through the garden, speaking about small things at first, the flowers, the soft morning light, the way the birds sang. Daniel felt the tension in his chest slowly easing. He realized that for the first time since the engagement, he was breathing freely, without hiding. The fear that had clung to him for days, weeks even, was beginning to fade. Then they spoke about the future. Daniel admitted he was nervous about being a good husband, about handling responsibilities, and about making sure Alina felt safe and happy. Alina listened patiently, offering reassurance with her calm presence. She promised to support him as he had promised to support her. The idea of partnership, shared responsibility, and mutual respect settled in Daniel's heart like a small, warm flame. When he finally left her home that morning, Daniel felt lighter than he had in years. He walked slowly back to his own house, thinking about the wedding day and the life ahead. For the first time, he felt excitement mingled with peace. He was no longer just obeying family expectations. He was preparing to give his heart, slowly and carefully, to someone he admired and respected. The day of the wedding arrived. The town was buzzing with excitement, and the streets were decorated with flowers and ribbons. Families from nearby valleys joined to celebrate, bringing gifts, food, and laughter. Daniel's mother watched him carefully, noticing the calm yet joyful expression on his son's face. He looked at Alina and smiled. No fear. No hesitation, only anticipation and respect. Alina appeared in the doorway of her family home. She wore a simple yet elegant dress. Her hair was tied neatly and her eyes shone with calm joy. As soon as Daniel saw her, he felt the same tug in his heart he had felt before, but this time it was different. It was not fear. It was appreciation admiration, and a quiet courage to embrace what he felt. He walked to her slowly. They met in the center of the garden, where soft light filtered through the trees. Both families watched, smiling, as the young couple stood facing each other. Daniel took Elena's hand gently. She did not pull away. Instead, she squeezed it lightly, letting him know she was there with him. That simple gesture, the meeting of their hands, carried more meaning than words ever could. The ceremony began. Words were spoken, vows were exchanged, and promises were made. Daniel listened carefully to his own words as he spoke them aloud, feeling the sincerity behind each promise. He promised to respect Elena, to support her, and to share life's burdens and joys together. He realized that promises were not empty. They were the first step toward trust, toward courage, toward love. Elena spoke her vows clearly and softly, promising kindness, patience, and understanding. She spoke of partnership, shared dreams, and support. Daniel felt a warmth rise in his chest, a warmth that had been missing for years. The fear that had once made his heart heavy was gone. What remained was hope, trust, and the beginning of love. When the ceremony ended, their families cheered. Friends and neighbors clapped. The town seemed brighter than ever, as if celebrating not just the marriage, but the courage and honesty that Daniel and Elena had shared. Later, as they walked together through the quiet paths of the garden, Daniel felt something new: freedom. Freedom from fear. Freedom from doubt. Freedom from the walls he had built around his heart. Elena walked beside him, calm and smiling, a steady presence that made him feel brave. He looked at her and said softly, "I was afraid before, of my own heart. But now, I want to be with you honestly, without fear." Elena smiled. "I know, and I will be with you patiently as you learn. We will face life together." Daniel felt a surge of gratitude. He realized that he had not only found a bride, but a companion, a partner, who would help him trust again, who would guide him gently through life's uncertainties, and who would share both the simple and profound moments with him. The wedding celebration continued late into the evening, filled with laughter, music, and the warmth of family. Daniel and Elena walked side by side, sharing quiet words and gentle smiles. The fear that had once made him distant and nervous was gone, replaced by a calm confidence and an openness he had not known he could feel. By the time the stars filled the night sky, Daniel knew that this was only the beginning. Life would have challenges, and there would be moments of doubt or struggle, but he felt ready. Ready to embrace his feelings, to honor his promises, and to build a life with Elena that was honest, kind, and full of trust. He realized something profound. The bride he had once thought would be plain was not only beautiful, but also a mirror of what he had been missing: courage, patience, and the willingness to open his heart. Her beauty had once frightened him, but her soul had taught him something far more important: that love is not something to fear. It is something to grow, nurture, and embrace. As Daniel held Elena's hand under the soft glow of the lanterns, he felt a sense of peace and joy unlike anything he had experienced before. He knew the journey ahead would not always be easy, but for the first time in his life, he was ready to meet it fully, without fear, with honesty, and with the quiet but deep love that had been waiting all along. And so, the young man who had once feared his own heart stepped forward, hand in hand with the woman whose presence had changed him forever, ready to begin the new chapter of their lives.